5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Project Egg Show. I'm your host, Ben Gothard, and today we have the honor of speaking with Dr. Gary Epler. How you doing today, Dr. Gary?
Hey, that's fantastic, Ben. Look forward to this session.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you came on the show. So let's hop right in. I want to know, what is your story?
Well, my story. I think the way to begin that story is with a discovery. I discovered a parasite while I was in medical school in South America. It was a lung fluke, hadn't been shown before, and I was fortunate enough to make that discovery. It's very exciting in medical school. Then I went on here in Boston in training and discovered another very exciting event. It was called, it's a lung disease called bronchiolitis obliterans organizing pneumonia, and the best thing to call it is whoop. And that was extremely exciting because it was an inflammatory lung disease, and that can be treated. And then not very many lung diseases can be treated successfully. So that's been a great story.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. I'm fascinated. Can you talk about how you got into a position in medical school to really figure this out?
Well, this is part of being an entrepreneur in business, and it all starts with the passion, with something that you're excited about. And I was in medical school, and I was reading a textbook, a relatively boring textbook, and it had this term bronchiolitis obliterans. Raised my hand, the professor, I said, "What is this?" He said, "Nobody knows. It's a mystery." And I love that. I love mysteries. And so when I finished up my training, I came here to Boston. We had a computer base of 5,000 patients with lung disease, and I clicked in that bronchiolitis obliterans. It was number 89 in the code, and out popped 100 cases.
And what did you do once you got those 100 cases?
Okay, here we go. This is entrepreneurship. What do you do? What do you do with these things? So 100 of them, I analyzed them. I got all the information I could. That's just what you do. You get everything you can about those people, every word I read about those patients. And 50 of them turned out to be different than anything that ever been described. And they had patchy infiltrates on the chest x-ray. They had different breathing tests. And they were really different. 50 of the other ones had been described way back in the 1800s, but not these. These were phenomenal. So you take that information, you go to your boss, you go to your professor, and he looked at this and he said, "Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time with this. You're supposed to be working, I'm supposed to be working for him, not for myself." And so I went back to work. I stayed there at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, working away over months. Went back with a second case. Oh, stop wasting my time. Just stop the jaws. And I obviously didn't stop. And I went back the third time several months later, and I showed him. This time I said, "Look, this is not the same case." He said, "You keep showing me the same case. This isn't the same case. I have 50 of these." And he said, "Oh, why didn't you tell me that? Why? Well, we have to publish this." And so there it goes. Again, entrepreneurship. You just stick with it. You keep going back. And eventually you break through. And so we did publish that, but back in the 80s. And then I needed to teach people what it is, so that they could help patients and help people. And then along the line, I established a website. Again, this one was for people with both and their families. It's a strange disease, and it helps them. The more you know about the disease, the better. The more you know about the diagnosis, you know about the management, treatment options. The more you know about all that, the better.
What inspired you to go into medical school in the first place?
Oh, it was not a typical typical guy in college, not knowing what you have no idea what you're doing, just no idea. And so I went into microbiology because it was about a microscope and bugs and so forth. So I did that. I was sort of interested in that, and then I specifically remember walking over to the university, seeing someone in a wheelchair, and saying, I get I get to help that person. Yeah, I'm going to go learn how to help that person. And it was this strange kind of symbolic thing more than anything else. But that really did it. I said, this is what I want to do. And it's been that way ever since. I just want to improve people's lives. That's what I'm all about.
I love that. So when you started your website and you started educating people more on this miraculous discovery, what did you start to see happen? What were some of the things that developed from teaching people about this and bringing more awareness to this new thing?
Well, the first thing that happened was I get to help people improve their lives and save lives. And that's a phenomenal feeling to be able to do that. And you can do it through entrepreneurship, develop products that are going to help people. I mean, it's a fantastic feeling. And then that led me to a third discovery. The first discovery was the parasite. The second one was the bump itself, a lung disease. And then the third discovery I wanted was a treatment. And I set out to do this. It was going to be on a social scale, millions of people. It was going to be more of a public health discovery. And I started this many years ago. And I was going to make it on a commercial basis, or an entrepreneurial basis. And the reason was scalability. I could do it through an academic path, which would have been exciting and enjoyable, writing papers and research. But there's no scalability with that. And I wanted scalability. And so that's why I wanted to do it on a commercial basis. And I've been doing that ever since. And that led me then to say, look, I want to develop products or information or services to help improve people's lives. And then that led me to this, what I call Epler code. It's a code of how to live your best life. And there's 15 elements. It's got science-based. They're all science-based. And they all have outcomes. If you do this, it'll increase your productivity by 10%, or 20%, 40%, and so forth. And that's what I'm doing now. That's my sort of current action. Again, improves the balance. And for entrepreneurs, executives, entrepreneurs, it's the balance in life. Yes, you got to put those hours in, sleep at the side of your desk, maybe once or twice a year or something like that, but whatever it is. But you have to have that balance, because life is just too exciting. It's just too fantastic to live. And so that's really what I'm doing now in a business sense and entrepreneurial sense, is taking these 15 elements and applying those to entrepreneurs.
Let's talk about those 15 elements. And I would love to get into the science behind each one and really dive deep into them.
The science is there. That's what's fantastic. And for the 15, there are 5 of them that are sort of what I call improve your well-being. And then there's 10 health practices. And those first 5, the first one is happiness. Now you need, on a scale of let's call it 1 to 10, you need a good happiness level. And happiness, the way I define it, is just being content with what you have at that exact moment. Just contentment. And if you have a level of 5 or less, that's not good. You may need extra more help. If you want to strive for 8 to 10. 8 to 10 is just fine. But here's what happens if you have 6, which can happen to all of us, including me. You have a downturn. Maybe you're spending a little bit more than you're making. Maybe your income has dried up, or a relationship has gone sour, it's usually business. It's usually about money, work, or relationship. One of those things is really gone absolute sour, and it'll send you down to a 6. You can't stay at a 6. You can't be at a 6. And here's the reason. Here's the sign. Nobody wants to be around you. If you have a level 6, you may say, "Oh, you're great. You try to fake it. You can't fake it." People know. People know you're an unhappy guy. And the very people that can help you, hire you or bring you some money or anything, they don't want to be around you. And so you got to get that back up. And that's the time to do it. And when you're at that level 6, and I'll tell you one way to do that. Point 1 is all you need to get started. Point 1, just ask yourself, how am I going to get point 1? Here's one way to do it. Be grateful. Be grateful for something. Well, then you say, well, what can I be grateful for? I'll be grateful for my house, my car. You can't be grateful for those. They're taking money from you, right? maybe you got a money problem. It's hard to be grateful for things taking money from you, but you can be grateful for someone who takes nothing from you. And it's your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, the worker, co-worker, or your parents, somebody who doesn't take anything from you. Just be grateful for them. That'll give you point 1 on that scale. So if you really get desperate, be grateful for just being alive. Now, you've heard that's an old cliche. And I said, what does that mean to be grateful for alive? I don't understand why. Why be grateful for alive? Here's the reason. If you're alive, you can do a lot of things. You can be creative. You can love. You can have adventures, positive experiences. You can be associated with extraordinary people. You can have high energy. You can have all those things. And that'll give you another point. And you're up to 6.2, 6.3, and then you just go on back up to 8.5, because that's where you go. That's happening.
So that's the first element.
That's the first one.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
With what you got, no matter how bad it is, because you just keep working on it. You just keep working. You gotta be happy. You gotta just happiness level. All right, so work that up. Now the second one is meaning. And meaning, that's pretty straightforward. Meaning is really straightforward. That means doing anything outside yourself. And I think in terms of just giving, give your energy, give your time, give your help without expecting anything in return. Fantastic thing. And that's what meaning is. You need it. The leaders need that. Entrepreneurs need that. You need that. Again, it's outside this work, but in order to be successful, just have meaning in your life. And that's a very, very important one. And why we're on this topic, Dan, there's kind of a lot of anger in America right now. If you watch that news at 10 o'clock at night, don't. You won't sleep. It's not good for your health. But there's just a lot of anger. And anger means something's been taken away from you. That's why you're angry. Something's been taken, but not only that, it's been taken in a personal way. You feel like you've been personally insulted or something. Mm-hmm. And anger means taken away. And so you've got to counter that. It's an old physics equation. For every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. And that's what you need. You've got to counter that stress, because it's stress. Anger, stress. Stress causes the cortisol response, causes inflammation, causes every disease we know, including death. So stress is not cool. And to counter that, you have to counter it, neutralize it. You won't get that cortisol effect. And to neutralize it, just give. Something's been taken from you, so give. It's the opposite. Just give. Again, give your time, give your energy. And the equal part, it's been taken from you kind of viciously. Well, give without expecting anything in return. People, absolutely neutralize that anger. And if everybody can do that in this country, including the politicians and so forth, give without expecting a vote. You just give it. The anger most certainly come back down to normal. It's fine. We all get angry. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the unneutralized anger that it just goes on. Chronic anger. That's not healthy. That will shorten people's life. So number two.
And it's and it seems like that anger, that lack of meaning, probably starts to deplete your happiness levels too. So it seems like those two are very connected.
Oh, they're connected. Absolutely. There you go. All right. Number three.
Number three.
Be engaged. Be engaged in life. Be engaged in work. Did you know the statistics are a catastrophe? 60% of people at work are not engaged. I mean, this number's floating around everywhere. And 10% of them are sort of neutral, but there's 10% that are actually not only disengaged, but they're harming the company. These numbers are a catastrophe. Just be engaged in life and be engaged in work. And be engaged in life to me means you know what you're doing, you know where you're going, you know what you want at all times, 24 hours a day. That's being engaged in life. Life is fantastic. There you go.
Those are three very powerful things so far.
All right. We'll do another simple one, and then we'll get to number 5, which is exciting. The next one, you need accomplishments and achievements in your life. You need them on a daily basis. You really need them on a daily basis. Big ones or little tiny ones. But, 2 or 3 days go by and you can say, geez, what have I done? What have I done? Well, you've done tons of things. You just haven't acknowledged that you did anything. You're thinking about all the things you haven't done, right? Come on. People go, I didn't get this done, I didn't get that done. Think about what you've done. And so those little things, accomplishments, and just register them as, yes, I did this, I did that, and just now, number 5, this one is totally for the entrepreneur. It's called positive communication. Positive communication. I define positive communication as when you interact with someone, both people feel better at the end of the conversation. That's all it is. Very simple definition. For example, someone, a spouse, coworker, friend, all excited about something they did, a big event, a big party, or they're planning something, all excited. I mean, they're just through the roof, excitement. They come around and tell you about this. There's 4 things you can say. 4 responses, Ben. Let's start with a shrug of the shoulders. Yeah, well, that's kind of passive. Yeah, so it doesn't really hurt anything. It's not really negative, but hey, you miss an opportunity to share with the excitement. Second one is one-up. The old one-up conversation is so common in these networking events. You're talking to someone, they'll come up with something big. Oh, well, you got to hear what I got. You got to see what I did, right? Oh, you hear this? Oh, no, and what does that put you in it? Oh, now what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to come up with something better. I'm supposed to make them happy. Here you had this exciting story. That's not good, because now you got a negative. And we've gone from neutral to negative. The worst response is called destructive response. You've heard this one. It happens too many times. It certainly happens in the workplace, and it happens at home. And that's destructive response. You get all excited about this story. The other person, oh, what you had all fun. I was working I was working all day. What's that going to cost? Right? And this big look of anger in their face. Whoa, what does that do to you? Come on, that's going to make you angry. Now we got 2 angry people. The second person was already angry, probably got yelled at by the boss or something. I mean, it's certainly not personal. But that's destructive. That doesn't help anything. If you have that day in, day out, that's chronic stress. Chronic stress causes that. The old cortisol, the old thing I told you about. Chronic stress can't do it. You just don't want chronic stress. Here's how you respond. You share in the excitement. This is the way. Oh, that's fantastic. Who's involved? Where is it? What are the ideas? Just who are the people? And so you share in the excitement. That way, both people feel good, and that's called positive communication. Hard to do. You kind of have to practice. You do have to practice, and it's subtle. Uh, for example, uh, the best questions to ask someone begin with a how or a what, because they're more comfortable to answer. If you have a question, are you going swimming or are you going to go to that event? That puts you, oops, come on the defense all of a sudden, you know? And very subtle and very difficult to do. But you learn how to do it, and it's fantastic. It really, really is great when you have a connection with someone and both of you feel
Well,
that's really fun.
it seems like all of these elements are really deeply rooted in both the science, also in very logical common sense. I mean, it, it's like things that I feel like people know innately, but maybe they haven't articulated yet in words. So I really love these elements, and also seems like to be consistent with them every single day, bring it every single day, practice them every single day. That's where it becomes, you have to have the discipline to be able to do that, to be able to reap the rewards of actually practicing them.
Yeah, and that brings up sustainability, and that brings up discipline and willpower. We'll get to that a little later too, but willpower is useless. It just is useless. It doesn't do us any good. It's not strong enough, especially when we get into eating habits and other kind of habits. So willpower is okay, but you really need more than just willpower and discipline. Yeah, I guess you do need discipline. You're certainly going to. I would think, but with positive communication, that's self-sustaining. I mean, you just, oh, if I do it this way, I can feel better. I mean, that's self-sustaining. You want to kind of do that, and that's what's good about that particular one. And these other habits. I mean, you realize the good things that come out of it, not the bad things, not all the problems associated with it, and all the difficulties. Don't even think about that. Train the brain. Think about all the good things that come out of this happiness level and about meaning. Some of the best experiences you'll have in your life is going off to Habitat and working with 2 or 3 people from some parts of the other country, lifelong friends. And you think of that, the good parts of that, not the, oh, I got to fill out the application, oh, I got to drive down, oh, geez, I can't get away from work, oh, I can't do this. 25,000 excuses. Please think of it. Just think of the positive. And all 5 of these things just flow. You don't have to. You don't have to work at it. You don't have to require willpower. The positive of all these things is they're so fantastic. I mean, it just gives you energy, gives you exciting life, gives you an enjoyable life.
I love that. All right, what are the next 10?
Now we get into old-fashioned health habits. You said these are common sense. Well, they certainly are. And I learned these 15 from my teaching all over the world and taking care of patients all over the world and giving seminars and so forth. I learned from all my patients and all these people. It's common sense. The ones that follow these do better. They certainly do better with Boop, and that's really where it came from. And the first one is love life. And that's what we've been talking about. I mean, you gotta love life. It's easy to enjoy. It's not drudgery. It's really, it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. It's fantastic. And so just love life. You've got to wake up in the morning with, hey, this is great. Not the other, oh, geez, Monday, sorry. That's a real simple. Love life. But then we get into the big 3 that your mom and your dad, the whole world has been known for thousands of years. The big 3 is eat, sleep, and exercise. And can I turn that off? Telephone? Can I? It's going to be distracting. It will.
Sure.
Sorry.
This is the fun of live streaming an episode, ladies and gentlemen. We have real action going on. But just as a tangent, as a little side note, these are some incredible elements that that we're talking about here. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would highly encourage y'all to really make sure that you're paying attention to these. I would recommend coming back and listening to these elements multiple times. Maybe the first time, just let them sink in, and then actually come back and write them down and apply them to your life. Anyways, please continue.
Hey, Ben. So the big three: eat, sleep, and exercise. Now here's the science. Here comes some really great science. Real simple with it, but let's start with sleep. You gotta have 8 hours, Ben. I know entrepreneurs. I can sleep for 4 hours. I can go and sleep. Yeah, you can, but you're only running about 60% of your capability. Number one. And number two is there's two and three. There's two reasons why you need 8 hours. The first is that we have a chemical in our brain called adenosine. It's our energy chemical. It's in our brain, and it runs down during the day. It takes 8 hours to build that back up. 10 hours you don't need, but 6 hours is not enough. You're not going to have enough of that energy chemical. And you do that day in, day out, you're running at 60% of your capability. Second one, which is really interesting, I just found out recently, we need our REM sleep. Now, REM sleep is rapid eye movement sleep, and that's dream sleep. When you wake up early in the morning, maybe dreaming or something, it's REM sleep. You need 2 hours. And then it all occurs at the end of those 8 hours. Not at the beginning. You sleep 6 hours, you don't get sleep. Here's what REM sleep does for us. It makes us human. It's for kindness, it's for love, and it's for empathy. If you don't get those 2 hours, you don't have that REM sleep. You don't have those three things. Hey, grumpy, cranky, short-tempered, and maybe even mean. And that's what happens if you're sleep deprived. And so get those 8 hours. All right, there's the sign. 8 hours. Now, the next one, let's do nutrition. Nutrition, here's how I look at it. And here's the formula that I've developed over all these years, and talking to see people all over the world. It's a formula. Nutrition is a lifestyle. It's not a diet. Diets are the biggest weight gain, cause of weight gain in America. You always lose 10, 20, 30 pounds. You can do it in weeks. Every single diet, every one of them does that. 3 years later, check out that person. They gained 10, maybe even 20, maybe even 50 pounds more. 3 to 5 years, that's a catastrophe. And it's in the science behind that, they found out from that show on television, the losers.
Biggest Loser.
Yeah, it's very helpful to lose weight. It was really not only improve life, but it'll save life. And they found out that diets permanently reset the metabolism center. And so so what you eat turns into fat more efficiently. So you need less than you did before the diet. But over 3 or 4 years, you kind of forget. And you kind of go back to your old routine, where your old routine now doesn't work because you gain weight. Maybe a couple ounces here and a couple ounces there, but over time it's going to be pounds and pounds. And so it resets that metabolic center. And then it's hard. It's really hard to go back because you have to eat less. You just have to do that. And so there's the science. And so my formula, real easy. Eat the right foods in the right amount at the right time, prepared in a healthy manner. That's it. That's it. That's the formula. Is it hard to follow? Almost impossible, especially today. In current, maybe 100 years from now, maybe we can do it, but not right now. And it will start out with the right foods. What are those right foods? The right foods are foods that do not contain sugar, added sugar. Not regular natural sugar is not a problem. Foods that do not contain added sugar, foods that do not contain added salt, and foods that do not have processed omega-6 fats. Those are the three. And sugar, added sugar, number one, it's addictive. And you gotta have it, you crave it. And it's a problem because it causes that cortisol release, causes insulin problems, causes cortisol release, causes inflammation. And guys that have that big belly, that's not only a big belly, that's inflammation. And inflammation causes disease of the blood vessels, of the heart, of the brain, high blood pressure, diabetes, and strokes, and even death. It can cause that. And so it's inflammation. And that's what foods with added sugar, added salt will do. Processed omega-6 fats, these are just fats that are processed, really sort of literally sort of manufactured types of fats. And they also occur in fish and beef and poultry that's farm fed. They're sort of forced in a little container. They can't run out in the fields. And they have a diet that is really not healthy at all. It produces omega-6 fat. And omega-3 fats are healthy. And so that's the part about what the right foods are. Foods with no added sugar, no added salt, and no processed omega-6. And another two more is foods with omega-3 are good. And fiber, old-fashioned fiber. Tastes like cardboard, but it's a vacuum cleaner, toxic vacuum cleaner. And so those are the right foods.
And how about the time and the amount prepared?
The amount. Man, you won't believe the amount. When you're 18 years old, you can have doubles, you can have triples, you can just clean that plate off. Like you're told you're supposed to clean that plate, seconds and so on. You burn that up by the time you leave the table. Not at age 40. You just don't. Not only burn that up, it just all goes to visceral fat. It's just the wrong kind of fat around the organs and the blood vessels. And half of that. And no seconds. That's what you can use small plates, no seconds, just quantity, just unbelievable. You don't believe how little you need. I gotta have that, but no. It's quantity, small amount. And you don't have things in the refrigerator that are bad for you. It's just out of sight. You don't do it. But that's the quantity, and not much. Right timing. It is three times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Don't want it too big of dinner. It's kind of smaller dinner than you usually think, and lunch is small and breakfast is small. But I usually eat that. And then I think by timing, I mean you don't want to eat 3 hours. You don't want to eat 3 hours before you go to bed. In other words, you don't want to have a big old meal at 12 o'clock at night. That's just catastrophe. My friend in medical school said, I'm going to take care of this. I got a couple extra pounds to get rid of. He had one meal a night, one meal a day. And they got it written at night, 8, 9, 10 at night. He's 20,000. Whoa, this is not good. And that's what I mean by timing. It's just regular timing. And don't eat huge meals before going to bed. It's not going to go anywhere. But those are rules. They're hard to follow. The no sugar, no added sugar rule. 90% of the foods we have in the supermarket have sugar or salt or something in them. And it's hard right now. And it's a national campaign trying to get. You don't need added sugar in ketchup. Just don't need it. And in so many things, it's just a tradition, it's a habit. And salt, you don't need salt in anything. You put salt in things, that's a preservative. Thousands of years ago, it's a chemical. That's not nutritious. And we get plenty of salt from our food. And so it's just a huge campaign that's going to have to be done, but eventually it will. We got 90% of them are bad. Well, let's hope for 85% next year. That's nutrition.
And how about preparing it the right way?
Oh, that one is no fried foods. Sorry. Just not good for you. Fried foods. Just eliminate fried foods. And even barbecue foods, they're not good. They're not good. It's like fish. If you prepare fish, you boil it. And you put a little water in a pan. You put fish in there. It's got to be free floating, free swimming fish, not too fun. But just boil that for 15, 20 minutes or something, and steam it. Really, you're steaming it. It's fantastic flavor, but you have to kind of learn the flavor instead of putting all kinds of spices in. Right? Oh, this is not good for the coronary arteries. It just really isn't in the long run. Short run, maybe too. Right? And this gets me to the thing of people using willpower in diets and so forth. Well, I'll use willpower to fix this problem. Well, to give you an example, it's noon, maybe it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you want a snack, you've got the choice. You've got some carrots, or you've got a candy bar. All right, come on. What are you going to take? A candy bar? That's fantastic. It tastes delicious. You give it a little chocolate and some peanuts. Oh, phenomenal. For 30 seconds. 30 seconds. That's all it lasts. 30 seconds. And then about an hour later, you're sitting there, you're just, I don't feel like doing that report. I don't feel like making that call. I don't feel like doing that email. You crashed from that glycemia, hypoglycemia. This is not cool. You got the carrots. Oh. Come on, carrot. Hey, they're crunchy. Crunchy is good. Crunchy is good. And here's what it does do. You don't have the crash. It gives you some energy. It really does. It gives you healthy energy. You really do that report. Really do that email. And in an hour, you're still going to be ready. But here's the real catch. And this is this thing about training your brain. It's not going to hurt you. You're not going to get diabetes and high blood pressure and a heart attack in about 20 years from now. Yeah, it's a long way out. But you're going to be healthy. You're going to feel great instead of sort of having to dwindle when you're 60s and 70s. You want to go on with living, not go on with dying. and so think that way. And train the brain to think of that. And then you can have those carrots and absolutely enjoy them. You will learn how to enjoy them because there's an accumbens, it's called, up in the brain. It's called the pleasure center in the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is your thinking part of your brain. The accumbens is the pleasure. And you make this little loop about these long-term feelings, it's going to be there. And you'll get used to it. And it's fantastic.
So what happens what are the elements after these?
Okay, we got exercise. Now it's a sleep, eating, exercise. Just a couple minutes. Number one, it decreases stress, gives you energy. I every morning I work out. Every morning, 7 days a week for an hour. And you mix it up. Treadmill. You need to do some yoga stretches. You got to do some weights. You don't need to be a muscle guy. Just some weights, because you've got to keep your muscle mass healthy. And you do classes. Those are fantastic because you get the group thing going. But 1 hour a day. And it gives a huge amount of exercise and it decreases stress. And you might reach your spouse. Then, that's what happened to me. I was training for the New York Marathon years ago, and there she was coming the other direction. It's 5:30 in the morning. I made the U-turn. She had her mace ready. She didn't. So that was Joan, and we're still, we had our anniversary, 35th anniversary in Paris just a couple of years last year. So it's just been phenomenal. And run together and stay together. We still run. We're running a half marathon in October, and it's just that's exercise. Fantastic. 1 hour every day. All right. So now we're working our way through. Fifth one is really, it's very strange. You wouldn't hear about this, but it's learn something new every day. Just learn something new, and more away from what you do, the better. Take a philosophy course. Take a Swimming lessons. I wanted to do a triathlon 2 or 3 years ago, and I found a coach, and he taught me how to swim. I mean, sure, I knew how to swim as a kid, but not really. And it's fantastic what it does. It's really something. It gives you lots of energy, and it gives life just full of enjoyment because there's all kinds of things to learn, and it's so easy to learn now. You see these, they have courses you can take. You take 40-hour course. You can get YouTube things, and then it's just oh, there you go, learn something. All right.
So I have a question about learning something new every day, because I'm a voracious reader, and I try
Yeah.
to read between 2 to 6 hours every single day.
Yep.
Um, how do you go about deciding what to learn, or how to learn?
Oh, I absolutely have no plan. I have no system. I really don't. Uh, my son asked me that the other day because I do a lot of these. I think it's learning courses. They're CD. I can't remember the name of it, but they're 40 hours of professors. It's a course, like a philosophy course or economics course. And I've taken all of those. And I took one on string theory. And you say, why did you do that? I don't know. I just said, I'm going to learn something from this string theory that is going to be applied to my day to day. And it's exactly what happened. It's the most fantastic thing I ever did. It was amazing. This professor in Maryland, fantastic. So I have no system. I just pops up into my mind. And it's basically, can I learn something to apply that I'm going to use?
Fantastic. Okay, so what's after learn something new every day?
Okay, so now we got five. Now we got five more. Let's do two together. And it's being grateful. I mentioned that already. When you're depressed, it's hard to be depressed if you're grateful. And just a simple solution down the dumps. Oh, what are you grateful for? You just kind of list some things. Just being grateful. It's really nice. I mean, we've been given so much in life. It's so fantastic. Just be grateful. It really feels good. And there's tons and tons of science behind that. The other is compassion, and specifically self-compassion. And this is an unusual word, kind of a word you wouldn't think about, but compassion, monks, that's all they do for their whole life, just compassion straight over and over and over. You can feel this kindness for yards, miles away from these people. I mean, just kindness. And kindness is a great word. Kindness is from the heart. Being nice is kind of an obligation. Your mom, your dad tell you, oh, you gotta be nice. That's kind of an obligation. But being kind, then that's from the heart. So kindness and compassion. And self-compassion. When we're down, we're in troubling waters that we all get into. That's when you need self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with kindness. And so many people, it's the opposite. They blame themselves. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I'm not very smart. Oh, nobody else would have done what I did. And they just beat themselves up. That's horrible. That's the time to be very, very kind, no matter what you've done, no matter horrible, whatever mistakes you made, just be kind to yourself. And, and it's very, very helpful and very helpful. And again, the science is there. We hear this word self-esteem in the past few years, especially with kids. Oh, we got to keep their self-esteem up. Oh, we can't say that because we'll hurt their self-esteem. Oh, we can't do that. We need to give participation medals for soccer and all this thing. Self-esteem is useless. Absolutely useless. It's meaningless. The minute things go bad, self-esteem is gone, but not self-compassion. And that's why self-compassion is so key. Self-esteem, oh, that's great when everything is good. You win the game, all kinds of self-esteem. But wait till things go sour. Ooh, where is that self-esteem? It's gone. Not self-compassion. And that's what that's about.
That's powerful. That
Yeah,
is very, very
works.
powerful.
It works. Okay, so we've got two more. Two more. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
This one is actually a medical one called self-healing. And machines do it. We're getting better and better. These machines, they can, they got a problem, they fix themselves, and you don't even need to fix it. And we certainly ought to be able to, and we can. There's so many things we can do with self-healing. And the reason we don't, because nobody tells us about it. We don't learn about it. No place. We certainly didn't learn about it in medical school. And we're not going to learn about it in any college or any school or YouTube. Well, you might in YouTube, yeah, if you look it up, you might hear something. But self-healing, there's 3 or 4 components, just a simple one of approaching, because you need it when there's a disease or an injury. Chronic injury, maybe a hip injury, broken bone or something. Disease, maybe a real serious one, diabetes, a heart problem. And self-healing starts with, you have to have a positive approach to it. You can't give in. You have to manage that. You are in control of that situation. If it's cancer, if it's diabetes, I don't care what it is, you are in control. And so you need to learn things to be in control. You need to learn about that, whatever you're facing. Learn everything you can about what you're facing. And how's it diagnosed? What tests? Are they negative or positive tests? And then treatment options. There are always treatment options. What are they? Some of them, sometimes leave it alone. Don't do anything. You need to know what that is. And then you need to create an environment to heal. And in that environment to heal, healing is a state of mind. It really is. It's all in the mind. It's all a state of mind. And I was driving home from the hospital, listening to someone on the piano on PBS. He had AIDS. He was blind. He was skin and bones, but he said he was healed. And he's right. He was healed. He died the next day. But healing is a state of mind. And it starts with just being in control of the situation. And then some other things that you can do in managing this, learning about all of these components. And then you can use breathing. Breathing is so fantastic for healing because it's calming. You calm the situation and feel better, and you can at least feel better about healing. And breathing, there's so many breathing techniques. There's box breathing yoga where you count to 10 in and hold 10 and then 10 out and then hold for 10. That's box breathing. There's a real quick reflex. Put your hand on your belly, take a deep breath, and have your belly go out. That's a belly breath. Take 3 of those. Science is this ignites a reflex. It's just an old-fashioned reflex since you've been born. It's a relaxation reflex. That simple maneuver, and you can do that before you give a speech or when you're all tensed up, and you certainly want to do it. You don't want to eat when you're stressed. You should do it before you have a meal. But that's called a belly breath. In, the belly goes out. And that's reflex. And so there's that science that we keep talking about. But and then there's so many different breathing techniques. They're calming. They're calming, and they allow you to deal with what you're facing. They allow you to help. And then the other is visualization. And this is simply visualization like athletes do. They visualize the course, they visualize throwing free throws. And it works. Throwing free throws, for example, you have 2 groups. One group visualizes throwing them, and the other one does it. And then you put them together, and they do make more baskets. The ones that visualized it for a while, it works out. It's just the science thing. And so visualization. And here you need to know what the problem is. I mean, if it's pneumonia, you can get the antibiotics. You've got to get that. So I talked about these treatment options. Make sure you get the right treatment. It's going to work for you. Get the antibiotic, but then you can visualize bringing in cells, healthy cells, and just destroying unhealthy cells and so forth. And so there's a lot of visualization. That's so lots of it.
Well, that was those 15 elements are amazing.
I got one.
And
we have 1 minute. Do we have a minute?
yeah, absolutely.
Last one. This one's the answer to a 3,400-year-old question. Right? Pretty good. here's what it is. On the Egyptian tombs, there's a thing that says, "Know thyself," and an Apollo. It's pointed, "Know thyself." Well, what's that mean? And Aristotle talks about it. Well, it's when you reach wisdom. Okay, what does that mean? And then psychologists a few years ago said, "Oh, well, it's when you behave the same way in the same situation." Oh, no, that's not knowing yourself. That's the opposite. That's a personality defect. If you react the same way in the same situation, we don't know what we're going to do from situation to situation. So that's not the definition. Here's mine. My definition is you learn to be yourself. When you're in kindergarten, or not kindergarten, the grade school, you're who your parents want you to be, your teachers want you to be. If you're not, you're going to get in trouble. And it's not you, right? You're who your parents, your teachers want you to be. You go on to high school, college, you start who your friends want you to be, who your professors want you to be, and then you go to work. You're who your boss wants you to be. If you're not, you're fired. I mean, that's the way it is. You're not yourself during any of this time. And it is stressful because you're not free. And then all of a sudden, somewhere along the line, whoa, I'm me. I don't need any of this. I don't need to be told or to be this or compare anything. I'm just me. That's a fantastic feeling then, because it's freedom. It's absolute freedom. Freedom from bullying. You don't need to bully anybody. Criticism. Don't need to criticize anybody because it's all you. And make excuses. You don't need to make excuses. It's just you for once. And that's a fantastic feeling. And that 34-year-old question, be thyself, so you learn to be yourself. But there's something new that I just came up with about 5 or 6 days ago. And this has to do with be yourself moment by moment. And that's where it really comes down to, this moment by moment. This is where you get into this thing, live for the moment, you've heard for years, it's an cliche. That's really what it is, because you're different realms in the brain. We do fMRI studies, not functional MRI studies of the brain while a person's doing certain things. And we're finding the amygdala does this, prefrontal lobe does that, and so forth. And there's different brains. And they all want to be in charge. They're absolutely independent. Well, this is normal. These are not schizophrenic people. These are normal human beings. They've got 4 or 5 components up there, all want to be in charge at all times. And you don't know which one's going to be in charge at any given moment. So how can you know yourself if you don't know who's going to be in charge? And so I've added that moment by moment. So be yourself is so fantastic. It gives you freedom. And that's the last one, the 15 moments. And the way you're being yourself is you learn over time, and then you realize it's moment by moment. You just enjoy the moment.
Well, that is fantastic. I love those 15 different elements. And I think the Epler code is going to be something that is really going to impact a lot of people both now and as time goes on. So thank you very much for sharing that. And Dr. Gary, I want to thank you for coming on the show and for sharing some of your very valuable time today. So thank you very much.
Well, Ben, it's just been fantastic. Life is fantastic.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep,
and to everybody who's watching and listening, I want to thank y'all very, very much. Y'all are the reason that I do this, and y'all's time is very valuable too. So thank you very much for sticking with us all the way till the end here. Thank you.